Welcome to the Team SNG Test Hands video. Today we are going to be doing the test hands for the Tri-Brigade Deck profile featured on the channel earlier this week. If you haven't checked it out, guys, what are you doing here? Go check it out. Links in the description below. While I've got your attention, I'd like to ask you guys, do leave us a like, leave us a comment, and leave us a subscribe. Also, check out the team's Patreon if you're interested in having your deck profiles featured here on the channel. Tri-Brigade's an interesting deck. It can go first, it can go second. We kind of hedge our bets a bit with this deck, but typically we do want to go second, not first. So we're going to do 2 going second test hands and a going first test hand. So we'll draw 6 cards twice and 5 cards once. And just see what we can make out of it. That all being said, let's get into it. Alright, so first going second test hand. Foolish Burial, it's always a good start. It means we'll get our search off. Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault, that's a nice thing too. There's the Nerval that we want to send off with our Foolish Burial. That's a bit unfortunate. There's our Karis, which can be really good. We have our Dinotherium. And because we're going second, oof! There's our second Nerval. So that means that our Foolish Burial is kind of a dead card in our opening hand. Alright. So, foolish. First things first, we're going to special summon Dinotherium. Just because it's good to have the body on board. Seeing as we don't have our Reborn Tengu, we're going to need to get our Reborn Tengu a different way. So what we're going to do is, our normal summon is no longer taken up by Reborn Tengu. So we're going to normal summon our Nerval. Then we're going to utilize Karis. We're going to pitch the second copy of Nerval to our graveyard, and that will then special summon our Karis. Nerval will then let us search our deck for a Fractal. At this point, we can use Foolish Burial to send to the grave basically any of our dangers. It doesn't really matter, so we're going to go with Dogman because he's the least useful of them. At this point, we'll use Karis. Want to use Karis or Nerval? We'll use Karis to banish 2 cards from our grave, letting us special summon our Farragut. Our Farragut will then let us normal summon, or special summon our Fractal, and we can then use our Airborne Assault to target our Fractal and special summon our first Reborn Tengu. So we have no more cards in our hand, which is a bit unfortunate because it means that our Nightmares aren't going to do a whole lot of board breaking for us, but that's fine. We can now use our Dinotherium and our Farragut to go into our Nightmare Unicorn. Then we're going to use our Karis and our Reborn Tengu into our Nightmare Phoenix. At this point, we're going to use Fractal. Oh, hang on. Our Reborn Tengu will trigger before we can do anything else. Special summoning from our deck our second Reborn Tengu. At this point, we're going to use our Fractal and banish Karis, Reborn Tengu, Dinotherium, and Farragut. It's kind of important we banish the Farragut because we're likely going to be left with only 2 spaces on the board. And if we did ever have our Tri-Brigade Revolt, we're going to want to special summon back our Farragut so we can go link 3. So banish off those 4. because we've banished our 4, we now get to special summon our Tri-Brigade Shuriag the Ominous Omen. Bum bum bum. At this point, we can go link 2 into our Nightmare Cerberus. And actually, because we haven't used Nerville yet, we are in really good shape here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to special summon our 3rd and final Reborn Tengu from the deck. At this point, we can use Nerville to banish 3 cards from our grave. Ooh, we haven't got 3 to banish. Ah! Oh no, he's a Beast Warrior. Shoot, that doesn't work. Oh, they're both Wind type though. I think that works. Yep. At this point, we can actually make our extra link here using just these 2. Linking both of them off being Wind attribute to make Union Carrier. Union Carrier will then let us equip from our deck our Dragon Buster to Shuriag. When Shuriag was summoned, he'd have banished something off of our opponent's field, but at this point, every card on our field cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect, which is really useful. They're going to have to find another way of getting rid of anything on our board except for this. They also can no longer go into their extra deck, meaning that they are going to be in trouble there, and typically at this point, we probably will be running over most of what's left of their field. Because we've got a guy who's now at 4,000 attack thanks to the equipped spell. We've got a 1,600 beater, a 1,900 beater, a 2,300 beater. And at the same time, you know, if we haven't run over everything, our opponent's not going to be able to build much to be able to break this board and come back from whatever damage we managed to do here. If for whatever reason your opponent has a monster in the extra monster zone, you just banish that off when you summon your Shuriag, making room for this extra link play. Alright, that does it for our first test hand. So, going first this time, we've seen our Reborn Tengu, great normal summon. Dinotherium, good extender. Dark Ruler no more, kind of upsetting that we didn't see that last turn, but it's not a bad card for us to have, because we will probably have to play on turn 3. Danger Thunderbird, and Gallus the Star Beast. So, at this point we're not going to be able to do a whole lot, but we're going to do what we can. First things first, special summon our Dinotherium. Our opponent's got nothing in either graveyard to special summon, so we benefit off of that. Second, we're going to go with our normal summon of Reborn Tengu, because now we've got Link 2 on the board, sitting ready, waiting to go. At this point, we're going to go Link 2 into our Farragut, because this will let us get our Dark Ruler no more out of our hand. Reborn Tengu being sent to grave, we'll summon a second one. I try to keep the Reborn Tengus off to either side of the field. That way they don't interact and become a problem when I'm trying to link off stuff in the middle of the field. At this point, I could use Farragut's effect to special summon my Gallus, or I could use Gallus's effect to try and special summon himself. And I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to send... Oof, that's a bit unfortunate, not necessarily what you want to see, but hey, you got your Gallus on field, and you've inflicted your opponent with 800 points of damage, so at least you've done some damage turn 1. At this point, you're going to link Gallus and Tri-Brigade Farragut off to go link 3. Really, I think our best bet now is to go with Rugal rather than try and build our Nightmare board. Farragut's effect is also going to go off, letting us draw a card and put a card back into the bottom of our deck. So drawing the Gallus is definitely better than having Dark Ruler no more, because we do have another extender in our hand we could continue to play with. So yet again, I think we're going to go with... Actually, I think at this point we're going to go with our Danger Thunderbird. Yeah, at this point we're going to go with our Gallus. We're going to send the top card again. Ouch. So that's a bit painful. We're now kind of trapped. We can't do a whole lot. We're going to need to link off these two to give ourselves our Ominous Shuriag. And we're going to have to then special summon our final Reborn Tengu, which we don't have because it was sent with Gallus. So this is a bit unfortunate. We've kind of ended up in a bit of trouble. Our Shuriag is fine to be out on his own, but realistically this isn't a very imposing board, and we're probably getting run over. So it was a bit unfortunate that the luck of the dice of the Gallus sent one of our Reborn Tengus away, and we also didn't see a single one of our Tri-Brigade monsters to utilize stuff in the graveyard. Because we have a lot of stuff in the grave that we could utilize if we had it. Oh well, sometimes this is the way the cookie crumbles. On to our final test hand. Alright, final test hand going second. Reborn Tengu, Foolish Burial, Danger Jackalope, Tri-Brigade Karis, Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault. This would have been a very nice going first test hand. And Danger Bigfoot. So now we're in really good shape. We have lots of different stuff we can do. We have lots of plays we can make here. So first things first. Foolish Burial. Activate that. Send our Nerval to grave. Nerval going to grave lets us search. Fractal to hand. We've also gotten quite lucky because we do have our Jackalope in hand as well. So what we can now do is we can activate Karis in hand, pitching Jackalope to special summon Karis. Put him in the middle. Jackalope will then trigger special summoning one of our two Danger Bigfoots onto the field. In our grave, we currently have fodder for a Link 2, so we could definitely go with our Link 2 play. Potentially taking the Danger Bigfoot that's in our hand out of play, out of our hand, which could be useful. We have Danger Airborne, Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault we could use to bring out pretty much anything out of our deck, so long as we keep Danger Bigfoot on the field. And we have Fractal as well, who can continue extending our plays in our grave. Or we can keep him to extend our plays further once we put Farragut on board in just a moment. I think that's what we're going to do right now. We're actually going to use Karis' effect, and we're going to banish off our Jackalope and our Tri-Brigade Nerval for our Farragut. Farragut will then let us special summon our Fractal. Seeing as our Karis is now a dead card, we can freely link our Karis away. So we are going to do just that. We're going to link away Karis and Farragut into our Unicorn. Now, don't forget, guys, we are going second here. So we could keep our Bigfoot in hand, which I think is actually what we're going to do. We're not going to bother with Farragut's play. We're going to use our Bigfoot and our other Nightmare monsters to pop stuff off of our field. But we are going to leave Unicorn. We're not going to use Unicorn's effect on Summon because we do want to actually do it via the extra link plays that we can have. So at this point, we're going to normal summon our Reborn Tengu, and we're going to link off our Reborn Tengu and our Danger Bigfoot. Into our Nightmare Phoenix. At this point, we're going to start breaking our opponent's board a bit further by pitching our Danger Bigfoot, popping a card on their field, a spell card thanks to Nightmare Phoenix, and popping a face-up card thanks to Danger Bigfoot. We also get to draw a card because he's co-linked, because Nightmare Phoenix is co-linked at this time. So there's our Gamma Seal, which is also a really nice card for this deck to have access to. At this point, we can use our Fractals effect, banishing off 1, 2, 3... wait. Mustn't forget Reborn Tengu. Reborn Tengu is going to give us another link material. Yet again. This is why I love Reborn Tengu. So there's our Reborn Tengu. Now we're going to use our Fractal. We're going to banish off 4 cards from our grave. So we'll banish off both our Bigfoots, our Farragut, our Reborn Tengu, and both of our Danger Bigfoots to special summon from our extra deck our Shuriag. At this point, we can go link 2 into our Nightmare Cerberus, who will let us pitch off our Gamma Seal, pop a card, and draw a card. Also, our Reborn Tengu will go off, special summoning the 3rd copy directly from the deck. And we can now... At this point, we can use our Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault, targeting our Reborn Tengu, and special summoning from the deck could go with Tri-Brigade Nerval. Actually, yeah, we'll go with Tri-Brigade Nerval. We now have options. We could link Tri-Brigade Nerval and Reborn Tengu off, or we could use Tri-Brigade Nerval's effect, banishing off our 3 Tri-Brigade Fractal, Tengu, and Karis to special summon straight into our Rugal, meaning that we can interact on our opponent's turn more easily. Don't forget, we do still have a Gallus in hand, so we do have plays there we can make next turn as well. I think at this current juncture, we're probably better off, though, going link 2 into our Union Carrier, targeting our Shuriag, and equipping our Dragon Buster Sword of Destruction, or Destruction Sword, to our Shuriag, giving him an 1,000 attack boost, and stopping our opponents from summoning anything else from the extra deck. Again, we've probably broken through a decent chunk of our opponent's boards, what with our Nightmare Phoenix and our Nightmare Cerberus going off, also with the Danger Bigfoot play, and potentially even that Danger Thunderbird that I'm fairly certain we saw this test hand. Well, maybe not. So we've probably broken through a good chunk of our opponent's board. There's probably not a whole lot left. Whatever is left, we're likely going to be able to run over the biggest one with Shuriag, and maybe the next one, and then the next one, and so forth, until we ended up with our opponent sitting on a pretty much empty board. Their ability to play through this board on their next turn will be very difficult for them, meaning that turn 4 we will likely win the game. So that does it for these test hands. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Do make sure you check out the deck profile if you're interested in it. Link to that will be down below. On top of that, make sure you leave us a like, leave us a comment, leave us a subscribe, and I will see you guys at the next video.